Make sure you are subscribed. College football, nothing but all year long. Appreciate y'all in advance for that. Trebor Pena. Now, Trevor spells his name with a B. So, I mean, if you got a B in your name for no good reason, I mean, it must stand for baller. The B is silent in that sense. But Trebor Pena, I think he's going to go to Miami. Now, I don't have a ton of intel to back this up, but the way that I'm looking at this, Trebor Pena visited Penn State. Penn State was in a good spot. Trebor Pena, though, is still going to take some visits. And Trebor Pena is from the northeast part of the United States. He's already done the northeast thing by going to Syracuse. If I'm him, I say I saw what Xavier Restrepo did in that offense under Shannon Dawson. I see him leave to the league. I know what I did last year at Cuse. I'm going to go ball in Coral Gables and catch the pass from Carson Beck. I mean, lowest amount of question marks you would think if you're Trebor Pena for an offense, and in terms of what your role would be, that would make a lot of sense to me. So Penn State wouldn't surprise me if he ended up there. That was where I sat on Tuesday, of him being an Nittany Lion. I don't know if lock's the word, but pretty close to it. Now with him taking more visits, Miami being one of those visits, I'll go ahead and call my shot for him to end up in the 305. Staying in the wide receiver position. Keelan Marion. Absolute dog from BYU. He's going to have a couple of visits here lined up. There's some smoke for him with Miami as well. But, I like him at Tennessee, man. And the verdict's very much so out on where he could end up at. But I think if you see what Tennessee's offense has been, when they have a true explosive weapon on the perimeter, whether it be Hyatt, whether it be Cedric Tillman when he was healthy, Keelan Marion can thrive in that offense. Now you got a guy, Joey Aguilar, push the ball deep a little bit for you. Keelan Marion, a guy who's first-team All-American, unanimous as a return specialist. The fit there, to me, would make a ton of sense. Also worth noting, Keelan Marion from Atlanta, SEC country, maybe wants to play ball in the SEC, would make sense to me, so we'll call our shot. Keelan Marion ends up in Knox Vegas. Should also give this massive disclaimer. These are predictions. All right, so these things could change the drop of a hat. I'm not operating with a ton of intel here. Ton of intel over on on3.com from Pete Nako, Steve Wiltfong. They're calling their shots with some real backing behind it. We're talking fit. We're talking what we'd like to see. And we're talking what makes sense to us here on this side of the operation. Steve Angeli, quarterback from Notre Dame. I'll call my shot. I think he ends up at Syracuse. And by the time you're watching this, he may have already committed to Syracuse. But Steve Angeli is from New Jersey, and it would make sense to get back closer to home, be around Fran Brown, and a dude who's revitalized Kyle McCord's career from being a guy who couldn't cut it at Ohio State and was hitting the portal because of the way things ended there. Goes to Syracuse and lights it the heck up. I keep saying this, but the origin story of a Kyle McCord could very much so resemble that of a Steve Angeli. I love the Darth Vader factor to it. Goes from one side to the dark side and ends up balling out in Syracuse. I love that. I absolutely love that. I think he ends up there. We'll call our shot. Steve Angeli to Syracuse. Bo Atkinson, very high-profile edge defender right now in the portal from North Carolina. There's picks out for him to go to Ohio State. To me, that's where I fall in this thing. He's 6'6", 265, 7.5 sacks last year. It's so tough for me if I'm Bo Atkinson to sit here, evaluate all my options, and know what Ohio State has produced on the defensive line when it comes to Sunday talent. The blueprint is right there. You go play for Larry Johnson, you wear that uniform, you run out in the shoe, you do good things, you go play on Sundays. So if I'm Bo Atkinson, that makes too much sense. I think they end up landing his services. Now, Jaden Rashada is one more player I want to talk about here. There was some smoke, or there was a report, quite frankly, that he was going to visit North Carolina. That ended up not happening. Couple of schools in the mix for him. I'm going to call my shot and say Fresno State lands his services. Now, the reason why I feel this way, Jaden Rashada has bounced around a little bit. It's been very well documented. Was at Arizona State, was committed to Florida early on in his career before he got to college football. Went to Georgia for a period of time. If I'm him, I just want to get back close to home. I want to get back around family, back around my friends. I want to get back to the fundamentals, if you will, before I got to playing college football. So if I'm him, go to Fresno State, new staff out there, fresh start for him. Go be around the people that some familiarity, home cooking. I would love that for him. So Jaden Rashada to Fresno State, to me, is the prediction that I'm going to go ahead and call as we sit here right now on this wonderful Thursday morning. So those are our transfer portal predictions. Let me know your thoughts, and we will, of course, keep a pulse on this thing as we move forward.